Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to The Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith. Adam Palley's here. He is in a new movie, Most Likely to Murder. Adam, great to have you. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Before we get into the new movie, I was just telling you before, I'm streaming Happy Endings.
Yes.
Going back a little bit. Very witty, extremely funny, great cast.
Yeah.
So what do you remember most about that time in your life?
Oh, I remember so much. I mean, I think the thing I remember most is how warm it felt all the time. You know, it's very rare that you get to work with people that you click with all around. And so I remember just a sense of family and warmth, and everybody went through so much personal stuff in the brief time that we were together, in the 4 years that we were together. So it was, I just, yeah, I remember that. I remember the love.
And we were also talking that if it was today, it would have been a great streaming option. But it was also nice that it was back in a time where it was before all the Friends from College shows and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. I think we were maybe slightly a little before our time, but also it's very nice that we are remembered so fondly. You know, I think part of the reason people love it so much is that there's so little of it.
Yeah, no question about it. So when you think about your career, it's been shows like that, it's been movies all around.
Yeah, a lot of stop-starts.
So how does that go for you in terms of having a great project and then you have to find the next thing and just being a working actor all these years?
That's just what I signed up for, you know. I enjoy that. I think one of the things that I really wanted to do in my career is do everything. And so I look at all those things as enormous victories. You know, I got to do a show that people really love that was on the air for 3 years. And so, yeah, it didn't go 7 years, but like, what do you want? You know, it's pretty great. And so then I got to do another show with Mindy Kaling, who's a genius, and I got to like learn from her and really like every day sit and watch her do everything. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do next. And I got to learn that. And then I got to work with Lord and Miller, and you know, so I never think of it like that. It's just if the experience is all that I can really take from it as an actor. So all of them have been great in their own way.
So you mentioned Mindy, and somebody that's right in there doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, she's
what was
amazing.
the biggest lesson you learned?
Just I learned how to keep your eye on the ball and not lose focus. Like she's amazing at knowing exactly what she wants to get done and doing it. And I am scattershot sometimes, and I very much like learned and watched her at saying you do one thing and you do it till it's done, and you do it really, really well. And you can multitask and do other things, but while you're doing the one thing, you're doing it. And she's amazing at it. And I would sell my furniture to work with her again.
So let's talk about the new movie. You play Billy. He's the type of guy that is back in his hometown, thinks he's the big man on campus, except everything has changed. So before we get into that, what type of person were you in high school and that first time you went back to your hometown?
I think I was a versatile kid in high school. I think like a lot of groups liked me, but I don't think I necessarily had a group.
Gotcha.
But I appealed to a lot of people. I used to do a sketch show on the morning announcements, which garnered me, you know, it made me realize that people will like you if you can make them laugh. And so that was kind of my focus. So yeah, that's the kind of kid I was in high school. I
got you. So when we look at the movie, there's definitely some funny moments in it. Great cast, obviously. So what do you want people to walk away thinking when they check it out?
I want them to have a good time. I think that's the thing that we were most trying to do for a movie this size and this budget is make sure that from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, you are not bored and you are entertained and you're not just laughing at a comedy, because it's not silly, it's funny, and we want that to be that the story is just as compelling as the comedy.
So the movie's through Lionsgate.
Yes.
You can get it digitally, but you guys have done some screenings. You're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So what was it like interacting with the people?
Well, you know, it's always a gamble. Interacting with people.
You never know what you're going to get,
yeah,
right?
I kind of wish that we were screening it just for dogs.
A little bit of a better audience, right? Forgiving audience.
The live screenings have been amazing, and it's really fun to watch a movie that we made we made this for you to watch at your house,
right?
You know, with a bottle of wine and your friends. And so to be able to do that in a big atmosphere has been really cool.
So you think about this movie experience, digital only, digital focus. You did Iron Man 3,
yeah,
big time actor, and Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
How do you compare those experiences just to see where the industry is shifting now in 2018?
How do I compare
just in terms of
this movie to Iron Man 3?
Yeah, big box office compared to something like this.
Making Iron Man 3 was way better.
And why is that?
Because it was $1 billion movie, and I had a huge hotel, and they gave you like the most amazing food between takes, and you're just treated like a star, and that's amazing. And this movie was gritty. It was, you know, me and my two buddies in Long Island, you know, like practically holding the boom for each other. And so you really can't compare them on that way. You know, like one is like, you know, being on a luxury private jet, you know, that takes you from point A to point B. And the other is like being on a regular plane with the people and going from point A to point B. And yeah, one is awesome while you're on it, but you're still getting from point A to point B, you know?
Yeah,
so they're totally different in that way. Like, the journey is the same, the movie comes out, but you can't compare them.
I got you. So I've heard you tell some stories about your dad over the years. A little bit of a show dad.
Show dad.
You've worked with some cool people.
Yes.
Who's the person that your dad geeked out over the most?
Well, my dad became friends with Joan Rivers.
That must have been an interesting friendship.
So that was a very interesting friendship. So that was fun. So Melissa, if you're watching this, and I feel like you watch everything.
Obviously.
Hello, I love you. So that was cool. Because Joan Rivers was like, you know, one of my, you know, on Mount Rushmore of comedy. And
totally.
so when she struck up a friendship with my dad, it was interesting. My dad really geeked out over Beth Stern.
Interesting.
Which I was completely geeked out over as well. But then when I looked over and my dad was geeked out, I was like, oh, cool, we still have stuff.
We got this simpatico
going. Yeah. I think those were his big ones, his like enormous freakouts. Although he did want to meet. Who did he demand that I introduce him to?
Oh
yeah,
boy.
oh yeah. That's how he does it.
This is how it rolls? Okay.
Yeah, he's like, you will introduce me. He demanded I introduce him to, Kathy Griffin at the President Show.
Oh, man.
He demanded to meet Kathy Griffin, and she was so sweet and nice to him, and she's the best, and but he geeked out over her.
I wanted to ask you about the President Show, too,
Yeah.
because obviously it's been a really interesting project for you. You played Don Jr. in there, executive producer, so what's been most rewarding about that so far?
Well, I think for me, it's a little bit of a catharsis because I am I guess, a liberal thinker in my politics. And even regardless of that, I think what's going on right now, it's mostly human rights. So I would urge everyone to take a deeper look.
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
It just made me, it helps me deal with it. You know, I am stressed out about it like like a lot of Americans. I go to bed nervous for my kids and I wake up nervous for my kids. And so the only way that I can kind of combat that is through comedy. And I think Anthony Atamanuik and Peter Gross are two of the most talented people I've ever met. And so getting to work with them and make this show, the three of us, has been kind of a dream.
Yeah, I think comedy is a good way to combat it and just air it all out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just it's hard. You know, it's really hard right now. It's hard right now for me to find interest in stuff that doesn't at least talk a little bit about what is going on.
Right.
Because like you're inundated.
It's consumed our lives.
It has, and it's not in a good way.
No,
you know,
definitely not.
And I don't think it will stay like that. I'm hoping it doesn't stay like this forever, but there's a chance it will.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. So Adam, last one for you. When you think about the rest of your career, you've done some great stuff, many different types of projects. What else would you like to do?
I would love to be able to keep working and afford to feed my family and
good reason.
Work with interesting people. I have been so lucky to do everything that I've done, and I don't think I'm at my peak yet. I think I'm still
still riding the wave.
Still riding the wave. Like if I was an NBA player, I feel like I would be about 25.
Ready to make your way into that top 10?
Yeah, like this is I feel like so the next couple years for me are like my Paul George years, and I'm, and I hope my leg doesn't snap.
Hopefully not. That wouldn't be a good thing.
But yeah, no. So I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know. Every year seems different to me, and some are less active than others. But I think that I don't know. I just like to grow and do more interesting stuff.
All right, there you have it. Adam Pally is Paul George. New movie, most likely to murder.
Yeah. Well, I want to clarify that.
Sure.
It's my Paul George year 5 years ago.
5 years
Paul
ago.
George.
Okay, so you're on the rise. Not in OKC where it's not.
No. It's my Paul George year before he slept with Roy Hibbert's girlfriend. And that whole mess happened.
Got a little interesting. That's All right, Adam, thanks a lot.
No problem.
Pleasure.
Yeah.